Welcome to the book summary of The Laws of Human Nature. This masterpiece by Robert Greene explores the hidden forces that drive human behavior, why people act, react, love, and betray the way they do. It's not just a guide to understanding others, it's a mirror for understanding yourself. When you learn these laws, you stop being surprised by people. You begin to see patterns, predictable, powerful patterns, that rule human nature. Let's begin this journey through the timeless truths of the human mind and heart. The first idea is simple. People are emotional before they are rational. Logic comes later. Emotion always acts first. Think of an argument. Most people don't listen to understand, they listen to defend. Understanding this saves you from frustration and helps you respond with calm instead of reaction. For example, a leader who stays calm while others panic earns trust. Emotion spreads, but so does composure. The second insight. Recognize the masks people wear. We all play roles. At work, in relationships, online. The smiling coworker may hide envy. The confident one may hide fear. Greene reminds us not to judge by appearances, but by patterns of action over time. Imagine someone constantly agreeing with everyone, not out of kindness, but out of fear of rejection. Once you see the mask, you see the truth. Next comes the law of narcissism. We all have a touch of self-love, but when it dominates, empathy disappears. The secret isn't to hate narcissists, but to understand their deep need for validation. By showing controlled empathy, not feeding their ego, but guiding their energy, you can turn difficult people into allies. For instance, a manager dealing with a self-centered employee can redirect their ambition toward team success. Then there's the law of role-playing. Everyone performs. The best communicators are those who understand the stage they're on. Authenticity doesn't mean revealing everything. It means acting with awareness. Think of a teacher. They don't show every personal thought, they play a role that inspires learning. The next idea is the law of compulsive behavior. People repeat patterns. Watch what they do more than what they say. If someone constantly blames others, that's their habit, not an accident. Seeing these patterns gives you power, not to manipulate, but to predict. Imagine a business partner who always cuts corners. Their next mistake isn't a surprise. It's a habit waiting to repeat. Then comes the law of covetousness. We desire what others have: status, attention, success. The cure isn't to suppress desire, but to redirect it. Be inspired by others' success, not envious of it. For example, instead of envying a friend's growing business, study how they did it. Learn, don't compare. Next is the law of short-sightedness. Most people chase immediate rewards over long-term value. Greene urges us to think in decades, not days. In a world of instant gratification, patience becomes a superpower. Think of Warren Buffett. He built wealth not by rushing, but by letting time multiply value. Then we meet the law of defensiveness. People resist change when they feel attacked. The key is gentle influence, suggestion, not command. When you make others feel ownership of an idea, they embrace it. A great example is a parent teaching a child. Instead of saying, "Do this," they ask, "What do you think would happen if we tried it this way?" Curiosity replaces resistance. The next principle is the law of self-sabotage. Often, our worst enemy isn't others, it's ourselves. Greene teaches us to confront our insecurities, our fears, our limiting stories. Think of someone who always quits before success, not because they can't do it, but because they fear failure or attention. Awareness breaks the pattern. Then there's the law of repression. We hide emotions we don't want to face: anger, jealousy, sadness. But what we hide controls us more. By acknowledging emotions, we free ourselves from their power. For instance, admitting envy toward a friend's success helps transform that energy into motivation. Next comes the law of envy. Envy hides behind smiles. It's quiet, but powerful. Greene says, notice envy in yourself before judging it in others. Channel it as fuel for self-improvement. A young artist who admires a master painter may first feel envy, but with awareness, that envy becomes drive. The law of grandiosity follows. When we experience success, our ego inflates. We think we're untouchable. The antidote is humility, remembering that luck and help always play a part. History is full of leaders who lost everything because they believed they couldn't fail. The humble, however, rise again after every fall. Then there's the law of gender rigidity. Masculine and feminine energies exist in everyone. Flexibility between them, strength with sensitivity, logic with empathy, creates balance. A leader who combines confidence with compassion inspires loyalty. The next truth. The law of aimlessness. People without purpose drift toward distraction. Define a vision so strong it pulls you through pain. For example, an athlete who knows why they train gets up every morning. The one who doesn't quits when it hurts. Then comes the law of conformity. We are social creatures, but too much conformity kills individuality. Greene reminds us to think independently, even when surrounded by group pressure. Consider how innovators like Elon Musk or Steve Jobs refused to follow trends and built their own. Next is the law of fickleness. Human loyalty is conditional. People admire strength and confidence more than weakness and fear. It's not about being fake. It's about maintaining inner authority. When you believe in yourself, people sense it and follow your certainty. Then there's the law of aggression. Suppressed aggression turns into resentment. Greene advises transforming aggression into productive energy. Competition, creation, protection. A boxer channels anger into discipline. An artist channels frustration into art. Energy redirected is power reclaimed. The law of generational myopia reminds us, each generation thinks it's unique, but human nature doesn't change. Technology evolves, but fear, pride, love, and envy remain the same. Understanding this keeps us humble and wise. Then comes the law of death denial. Most people avoid thinking about mortality, but awareness of death gives life meaning. When you remember time is limited, you focus on what matters. Imagine living each day with full presence because you know it won't come twice. That's freedom. The law of courage lies beneath all others. Understanding human nature means facing it, without illusion. Courage is honesty with yourself. A leader who admits mistakes earns respect. A person who faces fears gains peace. Throughout the book, Greene reminds us, these laws aren't tools to manipulate others. They're meant to liberate you from ignorance, reaction, and pain. When you see people clearly, their fears, desires, patterns, compassion replaces anger. You stop taking things personally. Imagine handling criticism not with defensiveness, but with curiosity. That's mastery of self. He also teaches that power and morality aren't enemies. True power comes from understanding, not domination. The wise don't control others, they control their reactions to others. When you learn to read human nature, you stop blaming and start understanding. You become strategic, calm, and deeply aware. Every conversation, every relationship becomes an opportunity to learn, not a battlefield to win. And that awareness, Greene says, is the foundation of influence, leadership, and peace. You don't need to change the world to live wisely. You just need to understand it. Start by studying yourself, your triggers, your motives, your fears. When you understand your nature, you master your world, because all human power begins within, with the courage to see clearly. And now, we've reached the end of this summary. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to subscribe for more powerful book insights and mindset transformations.